what is Carr's future with the Saints?
There's a lot of unknowns still that we're trying to get to the bottom of, and it's even kind of rare, I think, how secretive every side is keeping this. My best guess, though, is that one way or another, this is trying to force a divorce, trying to force a split, trying to either A, he legitimately is like, my shoulder has reached a point where I think I'd rather take care of it than play this season, or B, it's some sort of threat, like we asked for you guys to release us, you didn't. We were upset when you just restructured the contract instead of trying to work out a release. So now here's another path for us not showing up, and maybe now we'll force a release. Either way, I think the timing of it is, as we sit here Monday morning, the Saints are reporting for their off-season workout program. And I think we're not showing up for the off-season workout program. I think that's the timing of it. And so, one way or another, it's I want you guys to cut me, I want to get out of this deal, or I'm not going to play and I'd rather take care of my body. But both signs certainly aren't, I'm showing up, let's go, can't wait to get to work, I'm going to be the leader, I'm going to be the first one there, which is what you'd much rather see. So I don't know how there is any resolution from this.
Yeah, I would say I'll allow for the possibility that maybe he went outside and threw a football sometime in March and something bit in his arm and it's like, oh, man, this is messed up and I got to get surgery or whatever. But unless somebody comes out and says this is what happened, the optics of this paint one picture. And it was a very quietly, but maybe not so quietly, contentious situation with the contract. It never got loud. Nobody was ever making comments in the media or anything like that. But at the core of it, when that happened at the end, where it's just the plain restructure, no give, no extra years, no gonna add in this incentive, no nothing, because there's always a little something on it. Almost, it seems like it always seems like something. It was just a straight, we are restructuring this, and boom, done. And there was talk about giving up some money, maybe doing a pay cut. That didn't happen. We know for sure, and it was out there everywhere. We know ourselves, so as well, we can say this for sure. He was open to being traded.
Not open, wanted to.
Open to being released.
Yeah.
Wanted to.
Yeah, wanted to. Yeah. Wanted, was hoping.
Wanted an exit. Yes. Wanted the exit. Did not want to come back. He wanted to play football for another team that was not the New Orleans Saints. His prerogative. Yeah. I'm a little, if this is an at-odds thing, I'm a little surprised by it because I honestly didn't think it would play out like this. I thought when it was done, it was done. Okay, this is done. It worked out. They're going to pay him $40 million to play quarterback. He's going to get $40 million. He's going to play, and they're going to move on probably a year from now. That's kind of where I saw it heading. I'm a little bit shocked that it's here. But look, if it's here and he doesn't want to be here, I say let him go. Like I would just let him go at this point. I think it's better for him. I don't want to just be mean, though. So one more sentence.
Sure.
I think it would be best for him to go on and find somewhere else to play, and I think it would be best for the Saints to go on and play somewhere else. Though, doesn't have to be any animosity, whatever. Find a resolution. If he wants out, let him go at this point. Yeah. Like, it's very clear. I would just, and if you got to June 2nd it, just be done. Be done with the situation at this point. If it's going to be a thing where it's kind of you're at odds.
Yeah, we're connecting some dots here. Obviously, he could be injured. I mean, we saw something similar with Michael Thomas where there was a dispute. I mean, look, players have to take care of their bodies. You don't have to play through something. He's played through a lot. Like, it's actually one of his calling cards that he's played through a ton of injuries. And maybe like this is the offseason where he's like, we've been losing. We've been at odds. I've been fighting through this. It's not good for my body. Doctors have been telling me I should get this fixed. Of course, that's all true. But we are connecting some dots because, A, we know he wanted out. B, we know he was very upset when the Saints just restructured the contract and basically forced him to stay. And C, we know that after all that reporting came out and it was like, Derek Carr doesn't want to be here, he has not said a word and not arrived, not talked to the media, not tried to diffuse that, not said anything on his own social media channels.
We know they had to make a call to him to have a conversation, like, in the moment of that restructure to assure him, hey, look, no, you're the guy. I'm surprised. Like, if I'm Derek Carr, I understand maybe not liking playing here.
Yeah.
The organization has bent over backwards for him, and I'm not trying to take their side on anything or that, but they have. They paid him well. They've given him everything he wanted. The coach, I think Dennis Allen's biggest fault was how much he catered to the quarterback and just kind of allowed whatever. I think that was his biggest fault as the head coach. If this is that, it stinks a little bit. But hey, look, if that's what it is, just move on. Just move on and be done with it.
Yeah, and that's the big regret. I mean, look, no, we are not going to stick up for the organization because
they should have got rid of him.
Even if Derek Carr was saying all the right things, showing up Super Bowl week, saying, I got Kellen Moore on the phone and wouldn't let him off the phone. I'm going to work harder. Remember last offseason with Clint Kubiak? I'm not even sleeping at night. I'm learning this new offense. Like, I've never worked harder to learn a new offense. Even if Derek Carr was saying all those things, I thought they should cut him and start a rebuild just to get out from under the salary. If Derek Carr is adversarial, not here, not working with you and asking out, then absolutely, this horribly managed by the team. If they were like, no, Kellen loves Derek, Derek loves Kellen, we love this marriage more than you and the media see, then okay, fine. But that is clearly not the case right now. So it is mismanagement that they let it reach this point.
In their defense, so if it was hey, we're going to get rid of him a year from now, we're going to do the Russell Wilson thing with Sean Payton coming in. There was a strategy for that, and honestly, the better financial path did actually look that way. The fact that
it would have been really hard. It would have been really hard to cut him.
If he's trying to force an exit after getting paid this money, you should be able to count on a player playing.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple of things. If it's definitely a 100% injury, every doctor in the world would agree it's an injury. His contract was guaranteed for injury anyway this year, so they could not have gotten out of the $40 million. The $10 million was fully guaranteed. The $30 million was guaranteed for injury. So if this is a real, true injury, no matter what, there's nothing they could have done about it. And two, you mentioned June 1st. At this point, now that you have guaranteed all his money and restructured his contract, you can make him a June 1st. You would have to make him a June 1st cut. But a June 1st cut is basically the same as a March 1st, 2026 cut.
Yep.
Either way, it's $69 million worth of dead money waiting for you next year.
Yeah, it's
awful.
Look, if he was asking out, I would have got rid of him, but just because the simple fact that he did not want to be here. Should have just let him go. Should have let him go. But at this point, I mean, this is just
a lot of information we want to find out. We want to find out.
He's actually hurt, though, yeah.
Yeah, we want to find out how much they knew and when.
I know when they knew and when, because nothing else makes sense. Derek Carr's actions tell you when they knew and when. They didn't know when this was going on. Derek Carr doesn't say, release me so I can go sign with another team if he thinks he's going to fail a physical.
That's
if
true.
know you need a surgery, then that's the most illogical point of action ever. You should be holding on tighter than ever so that you're getting paid and all that stuff. So there's no way he's asking for that. There's no way going into the restructure that he's still – up until that moment asking to be traded and all that stuff. There's no way that because you'd fail the physical. It wouldn't happen.
They were talking about what an extension might look, pay cut might look like. I mean, it was not a
if you know something's wrong, it was after. I guarantee this is something they found out. They restructured him on the 8th. It's not something they knew before March 8th. Derek Carr didn't. His actions tell you he didn't know it before March 8th. This is one of the weirdest. If it's anything, if it's just a coincidence, it's one of the weirdest coincidences
right
I've
after
ever seen.
The restructure, which they were not happy about, then, maybe he'll be traded then instead after the draft. Maybe, there's just been a clear pattern of Derek Carr wanting out this offseason, not wanting to play for this team.
Yeah, that was the story, too. Even after the restructure, there was...
Okay, well, fine, but maybe they'll trade him then instead.
Yeah,
after the draft.
That was the whisper. Garofalo made a report on that the day of the restructure. Well, he's still a trade candidate.
Yeah.
So
this is a guy who has made a lot of efforts to leave this team, and it's hard not to see this as another effort to force a divorce or to be like, well, if I have to play for the Saints, at least I'm going to take the year to get myself healthy. That's certainly what it feels like, barring new information.
I'm just ready for the fresh start. This feels like too much for what it is.
Well,
at this point, it's become more than it's worth.
The topic is what's his future. I think we both agree that this would be an awful solution for the Saints to both pay him and not have him. That's probably the worst case scenario. But at this point, that's certainly what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a clear divorce. Even if it means you're eating all that dead money, it means there's no – I don't want this entire season to play out like the last month of last season. We don't know. Derek Carr might practice this week every Wednesday.
Yeah.
He might come off PUP this week. Like, no. And I have a feeling that if he does stay on the team, it'll be on that IR that you can't come back from. Like, I would guess it's not PUP list. It's just not good for anybody to be like, at any given week he could return. It better not play out like that.
Yeah, like him hanging out on the sidelines and all that stuff. No, it's just time to move. Either he's in or he's out, and just move on.